Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a good show lined up. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. I got a little bit of construction going on there right in front of there, but it's going to be nice when they finish. Hopefully they'll finish it around September, end of September. They're talking about that little section there on Baldwin. The weather today is hot, but we do have this cold front going to be coming through, and it's going to be cooling things off a little bit, but they're predicting a high today of like a 94 to 95 here on the coast. And when you get this on the coast, you know you're talking about a 97 to 99 here inland, so just be aware of that. I've been doing some stuff outdoors, and it's just amazing just to keep plenty of fluids in your body system. Okay, the water temperature has jumped back up to 85. It was 85 last week, then it dropped down to 82. And what that was now was a little current of water just came through and stepped and went back out. So back up to 85. So a lot of fish being caught off the pier. A lot of big fish are getting close to inshore. So be aware of that. And also the hot water fishing, during the middle of the day and all the fresh water, it's just real slow. So again, just be careful when you're out there because of the heat. River readings, Apalachicola, Brunstown, looking on the screen there. Apalachicola is 1.9 and pretty steady for the next few days. They're catching them on the river. I'll tell you this every day, but it's an ideal situation. The Choctaw at Caryville is reading a 4.0, and it's been some good days there. I've talked to some people who had some fly fishing friends over there, and they were catching some over the weekend. Didn't catch them on Monday, but they caught them the day before. So it's just, a lot of times it's just it's sunlight or the wind or whatever, some little thing that on fly fishing. Okay, tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home. Really strong tide this week. Again, looking on the calendar, July the 29th. We're wrapping up July real quick. Had a high tide exactly at 9 o'clock this morning, and a low tide is going to be at 7:26 tonight. Got a 2.2 foot range, really strong tides, really good shape. Okay, marine forecast, west-northwest at 10. That takes care of our weather. Going to be right back with a special guest. All right, welcome back, and our guest this morning, Officer Travis Basford.
Good morning again.
Great to have him on, and we're working hard this time of year, aren't we?
Yes, sir. It's been busy.
Has it been hot out there?
Yes, it has too. It really, the past couple weeks, it seems like it's gotten even hotter.
So, listen, they don't give you all these little air-conditioned cabs and all to get in?
No. With this vest and all the gear we got, it does get hot. So our AC is rolling down the water, at 30 mile an hour.
I understand. So. That's not bad. Okay, look, I know you got a lot of stuff to go over. I'm going to let you get started. So what
sure.
you got? What do you want to get?
Well, we can talk about saltwater fishing.
Okay.
It's still going on strong. They're catching just about everything right now, and we'll go over a few of those seasons because right now the seasons are staggered. Mm-hmm. And since gag groupers open, we've seen a lot of big gags come in. I haven't seen too many limits, but I'm talking about big 15, 20, 25-pound grouper coming in. So gags open right now, and seeing a lot of scamp too. People are running way off and getting some nice catches of scamp. Red snapper's closed until that Saturday right there before Labor Day, and then it will reopen that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and stay open every weekend until November 1st.
That's a good deal.
So it'll close, Sunday, November 1st. But, having the weekend spread out like that, it gives a lot more people a lot more opportunity to fish, especially the people that go on the weekends. You have to account for weather and all those things, so it kind of spreads it out. Amberjack is still closed. It's going to reopen August 1st. We've talked before about how they're wanting to increase the size limit to 34, and we talked last time about the reasoning for that, so you can have more sexually mature females. When they get up to that size, it's a lot higher percentage than at the current size limit, which is 30 inches. We're still waiting to hear on that. We've only got a few more days till August 1st, but FWC is going to be consistent with the federal regulation when that comes out. So that's one thing to look for. So it's going to open up August 1st, and that's state and federal waters. I'm seeing a lot of good beeliners. I'm seeing kings, dolphin. And then in the bay, getting out there early, people were catching trout and redfish on the flats.
So you are seeing some decent trout and redfish?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yep. So I had a picture the other day. A good friend of mine sent me. He caught a real nice, 20-plus inch trout on a popper there with a shrimp behind it. And then the people, that are sight fishing for those reds in the middle of the day, they're doing it. But after about 8:30, those trout are almost shutting off from what I've heard. So, and then while we're talking about offshore, we just want to remind everyone, this Gulf Reef Fish Angling Permit, this is an endorsement you can get on your saltwater fishing license. It's free, and it's anyone who is targeting reef fish. And I'm going to read some of these species off because some of them you might not think they are, but of course your snappers and groupers, amberjack, lesser amberjack, banded rudderfish, almaco jack, and triggerfish, and of course all your snapper and grouper. If you're targeting those fish, you need to get this permit. It's a free endorsement on your fishing license, and the purpose of it is to improve data collection for all our reef fish species before the people that would take these surveys to help with fish counts and see population stocks and all that. And there's a lot of different ways they do that, but one of the ways they do was a phone survey. And the thing is, they would just go through the phone book, and people that live near the coast, they will call. Well, you and I both know, half or more don't even fish. Yeah. So they spent a lot of wasted time and effort, and they weren't getting as much data as they could. So now with having this permit, they can call you, and they know that you're a fisherman and you target reef fish, because a lot of people also that live near the coast, they might target trout or redfish, or they might freshwater fish. And this is a certain fisherman that's going to go offshore and bottom fish.
And when y'all checking, you see a lot of people already have them?
We do, yeah.
That's good.
Word's gotten out pretty good.
Okay.
We're just educating people right now, and we really want you to have this because it's helping the fish, it's helping the fishermen, and it's helping us too. So I'd say probably, we were talking before, so I'd say 80% are having it, and if you don't go very often, you might not have heard about it. But again, you can get that, Walmart tackle store, you can get it online, and it's a free endorsement on your fishing license.
Okay. Very good.
So, and I guess we can talk about some bay scallops. You said you've been going over to St. Joe. And
we're trying to keep people informed on it. I know y'all were going one time with the weather, and that's funny because you said that you're out in the weather all the time, and you have a deep respect for the weather.
Yes, sir.
And y'all decided, you and your family decided not to go, and we'll talk about that. It's not worth it to get out there and get in trouble.
No, it's not.
And, it's been some really mixed reports. I got some reports last night. I saw the pictures of some really nice scallops. I saw some pictures of down around the Carabel area, around the retirement village out of Lanark Village, out from there. Some really good on the other side of your jurisdiction, but the report's been good. What about your guys down there? How are they doing?
They're doing good. I'm going to talk about a little case that was made over there, but for the most part, everyone's doing good. I'll talk about it later, but I'm getting mixed reports too. I've talked to people who are getting limits, and then some people say, I only got a few and they were small.
Exactly.
So,
all right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Travis. All right, so here with Travis Bassford. We have much fun talking off air as we do on air because just a lot of stuff going on now.
It is. It's busy. And while we're talking about bay scallops, I just want to remind everyone it is closed to harvest in Bay County. We've received several calls and people picking them up there around Shell Island and places like that. And we know they're in Crooked Island Sound as well, but they're closed to harvest. We hope that eventually they're going to reopen that, but it's been closed for a while. So if you get them, you can look at them, and everything like that. But if you get a bag of scallops and then that turns into possession, you're violating. So, look at them. When you snorkel and look at them, but don't pick them up, put them in a bag, and put them in your boat.
Yeah, and tell everybody out there it's not legal to keep those scallops. It's okay for kids to pick them up and show you, but put them back in and don't put it on social media, okay? Just not a wise thing to do, okay?
Exactly. Another thing that's going on right now, and it's going to pick up as we move toward the end of summer and into fall, is floundering. And I want to go over a few of those regulations. Obviously, have all your nav lights, and you're pulling along in that shallow water looking for them. And some things you need to look out for, though, and people might not be aware, is you're going to see a lot of things. You're going to see redfish, you're going to see trout, you're going to see sheep's head, and then you're going after flounder. You can only gig and spear certain species. So a couple of ones you'll see on the flats there, redfish and trout, you can't stick them. If you see a black drum, a sheep's head, obviously a flounder, you can. But another thing too that's in is blue crabs. We went the other night and there were a lot of blue crabs around, and you can't spear those or gig them. If you want to bring a dip net, lay your gig down and net you some up, that's fine. But just know what you can stick and what you can't, because sometimes you get in that light, adrenaline gets going, you want to pop something. You need to make sure what your target is. And another thing too on those flounder, it's not like catching them on a rod and reel where you can just turn them loose. Make sure they're over 12 inches. And we try to give a little buffer. I went with Dennis Palmer the other night.
And this is a good idea what you're talking about, what you measure. That's a good idea.
We did, because I tell you, we had several, and we're like, we'd seen 3 or 4 decent fish, but they looked like they were, 11 and a half, 12, 12 and a half, and we didn't want to stick one and him be under, so we were letting them go. And finally, after about the fourth one, he said, I'm gonna measure, and he said, my gig, is 4 inches. He had one of them real wide ones. And he took it right next to that fish and just rotated it around 3 times. It was 12, and there were still fish left. So he said, that fish is legal. I'm going to stick it. And sure enough, he stuck it. It was 14 and a half, almost 15-inch flounder. So sometimes they look bigger in that water.
So y'all let some legal ones go by. But
we sure did.
You erred on the side of caution, which in your position you need to.
Exactly. So it was a fun time. And then after that, we started, sticking those 14, 15 inchers. And we went for – we went for 3 or 4 hours, and we didn't stick our first one until about probably 2.5 hours into it, and then in 30 minutes we got 5 or 6 just like that. And it was almost like, I don't know if the moon, it was an incoming tide, and they just moved up on that flat, and they were there. So, but it's fun, and just make sure also on those blue crabs, just want to remind everyone, you can't have any egg-bearing females. When you net them, flip them over. And look there, if they got that orange on them, then they carrying eggs. You need to release those. Some people put out traps recreationally. You can have 5 traps maximum, and the bag limit, you can have 10 gallons whole per harvester. We checked some people under the bridge the other day. They had 1 box, and they were within their limit, but they had 1 box of blue crabs, probably about the size, a little bit bigger than a 50-cent piece. And then they had another hatch full of big blue crabs. They said, well, these are ones to eat, and said, this is our redfish bait. So they caught some, to eat. And then under the bridges right now, the redfish are real hot too on that outgoing tide, and they can't really resist a blue crab, free lined out. So just know your regulations before you go. And a lot of people just like to go on the flats. They just like to wade and get them with a net. So.
And speaking of those egg-bearing females, even if it wasn't against the law, as sportsmen, responsible outdoorsmen, and all, that's something. Those females, we just in all species, if they're loaded with eggs, we owe it to our future generations to let them go, irregardless of the law. But it is against the law. But anyway, we talk about that a lot on the show, about just conservation and those females is what's reproducing. So that's important.
Exactly, and it's the same thing with spiny lobster, and that's going to open today and tomorrow, the mini season. It's not quite as big up here in the Panhandle as it is down south, but it is going to open. It's the sports season for 2 days before, especially again down south where the commercial fleet will put their traps out after that. No egg bearing there, and that did go through. I've talked about it a few times. It's kind of a new opportunity for divers who want to harvest spiny lobster. If you kill 10 lionfish in that day, then you can have an extra spiny lobster. But you need to have those lionfish with you on board before you go over and get your extra.
You can't say I killed 10 this morning and they were out there somewhere. But you got to have them on possession. Okay.
Right, have them with you.
And that's a big deal, especially down there in that region.
It is, and it gets so busy. We've got our dive team deployed right now to the Keys, and they're working that down there, along with several other officers from all around the state go down there and try to help, because it's just thousands of people. People go from all over to go to mini season in the Keys.
And every year you usually have some kind of bad accident or some kind of
Unfortunately, it seems like it. We had a dive accident down there yesterday, and it's just so many people. So, and there's a lot of people out and about up here too. So. Always be careful and cautious out there on the water.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot too, on the speed and all. And so let's see, we got what else we got now?
Well, we can talk about some cases of the month.
Okay, let's take a break and we'll come back and talk about some cases of the month. Okay. Hi, welcome back. Glad you're with us this morning. Got a big week planned for everybody. Don't forget now we got this big kingfish tournament. First, let's do our fishing game forecast brought to us by Mark Coward of Counts Real Estate. Our time are from 11:07 to 1:07, right in the middle of the night, and then middle of the morning. I'm sorry, and then the night 11:35 to 1:35. So right about a 12-hour difference there. Now we've talked all week about the had Millard on last week about the big sea quarters kingfish tournament. It's this weekend, and we've been talking to our crew And I've been telling Travis about it. And
yeah.
That's just a fun thing.
It is, and it's for a great cause from what you're telling me.
Yeah.
And it looks like gonna have a good payout there on the tournament.
Well, it is. That's just a little added bonus, but we talked about the camaraderie of just all the fishermen, and we got a bunch of the older boats. We don't have a lot of those go-fast boats down there.
Right.
And like y'all, like we do when we have some up here. And so if y'all can enter the tournament or just go fish it one day, you don't have to fish it 2 days. All you got to do is catch one. If it's the biggest one.
One big fish.
You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of big fish and different fish, so you got a case of the month?
I couldn't pick just one, so I got 2 or 3 I want to share with y'all.
We got a lot of crooks out there. Okay.
It's been busy. I mean, everyone's out there, recreating, and I couldn't pick just one. And I want to start off with something a little different. This is an officer I went to the academy with, and his name's Tyler Harrison. He's from McCullough County, and he was off duty one night, and just a couple weeks ago, and his neighbor was beating on his door, and he come outside, and basically a guy was unconscious and not breathing right there, almost in his driveway. And somebody had brought him there because they knew he was a law enforcement officer and could help. So immediately he assessed the situation. He called EMS, got them rolling out to the scene, and he called dispatch on the radio, got EMS coming, and he ran back out to the scene. The guy was unconscious, not breathing, so he initiated CPR. So he didn't know what the problem was, other than the guy was not responsive. So after several minutes of CPR, the guy started breathing again on his own. The ambulance arrived, got him to the hospital, and after treatment there, they realized he had went into anaphylactic shock from wasp stings.
No kidding.
Didn't know he was allergic to it. His family didn't know, and they didn't know what was going on, but that can shut down your breathing if your airway swells. So pretty much saved the guy's life.
Wow.
So they got him to the hospital, treated him, and everything's okay. And now he knows he needs to carry one of those EpiPens with him.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know if they're allergic or not until it happens. So
Boy.
that was a real good job
yeah.
by Tyler there. And
Good
something we do a little bit of everything with FWC, and that's something a little different. We'll do search and rescue, and like I said, he saved the guy's life. So it's pretty neat.
And talking about that on tomorrow's show, I'm going to talk about snake bites. So 2 different people got bit by snakes 2 days apart, back to back, in this area. So
water moccasins.
One was a snake and one was a copperhead.
Oh wow! Yeah. Dang. Yeah, it is that time of year for
rattlesnake
them.
and copperhead. Yeah.
That time of year for them as well. Another case that was made over there is in Santa Rosa County, a little to the west of us. Officer Jason Hutchinson. He received some information about some illegal night hunting, and that's something usually we talk about in the fall, but that does go on even in the summertime. And this was associated around a deer depredation permit. There's certain restrictions with those permits. There's an area and a time and dates that you can take these deer that are being detrimental enough to the crop to where that you can take them out with a permit at night by gun and light. Well, the restrictions weren't being adhered to, and these guys were actually shooting on 3 other fields from a county maintained road, and they had shot 2 bucks in velvet. And they took a picture of them, and I think tried to cut the racks off. And anyways, after the investigation, he realized that they weren't hunting on the right field. They were shooting from a county maintained road, and they walked the road and found 9 casings right there where they had shot and drug the deer out, blood in the road. So they ended up citing them with taking a deer at night with a gun and light, and then taking wildlife from a public right of way. So that was a good case over there by Jason Hutchinson, and something a little different this time of year.
You don't usually see that.
No, you don't. And then we've had some other good cases in Gulf County. Officer Jason Litford. It was actually a scallop vessel limit case over in St. Joe Bay. You're allowed 10 gallons per boat, no matter how many people you have. And these people had about 12.5 gallons, so they were pretty good ways over it and still scalloping. So. He educated them on that. And then a final one, like I said, there are just so many. I just picked off some good ones here. Officer Matt Gore and Major Bruce Cooper, they were doing some offshore patrol, and they made a real good federal case. It was one of our commercial IFQ boats, and as the officers pulled up in the Major, they started throwing the fish on them. And when they got over, they realized why they were throwing the fish. It was they were undersized, so they were getting rid of their undersize, and then further inspection revealed they were using actually vermilion snappers bait, which you can't use your reef fish as bait. they were cutting up the vermilion snapper into little chunks to catch other vermilion snapper.
Okay.
So they didn't have their commercial license on them, so it was a pretty good case there too, where they were using basically the undersized vermilions or beeliners for bait, and then they had those on board too. So it was a good job. It's been busy, and those are just a few of some good cases that's been going on.
It's a challenge every time you're going out there, I guess. But it's a fun challenge, isn't it?
It is.
I
love it.
And I tell people I know, I get it from you guys, that the vast majority of outdoorsmen are out there to obey the law and do the right.
Yes.
But if we didn't have y'all out there, well, I don't know about these guys. They would just keep going.
That's it. Yeah, that's correct. And most people, you're right. Most people follow the laws, the rules, and regulations. And what keeps a lot of people straight is the fear of being caught. So.
And we're getting on, let's mention briefly about boating accidents. We had that unfortunate situation down on the Atlantic coast of those two 14-year-old boys and all about certain things about responsibility of not just the boater, but parents sending out kids and all, and speed. I know you see a lot of speed out there.
We do. Grand Lagoon. Anybody that's in Grand Lagoon, please slow down all the time.
Yeah.
And, I used to work down there in Palm Beach, those boys off Jupiter.
Yeah.
And I hope they're able to find those kids. And it's just that's common practice this time of year. You can come out and people will shoot across the Bahamas, and that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And but you get out there in that Gulf Stream, you know how these thunderstorms can pop up out of nowhere. And it looked like that's something had to do with that weather got them.
Yeah, and when the boat flipped over. So you just always be careful. I know it's in the back of y'all's mind, always telling people to be careful and all, but y'all really mean it because you see a lot of stuff out there and all.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
We're going to start wrapping things up now. Travis, as always, we appreciate you coming on. Really good stuff, and stay on top of all this. If you have any questions, you can call the FWC office out there and get it clarified if you're not sure about it. Know your seasons, because it changes a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
Fascinating how
it does.
But a lot of this is research-based data that they go by, and that's why this is important too, to get your reef angling permit. Okay. Thank you so much, Travis.
Always a pleasure.
All right, buddy. And don't get too hot out there today.
Try not to.
All right, folks. Always, we appreciate your viewership here on Panhandle Outdoors. We really appreciate you supporting our sponsors, and always try to do something good for your fellow man today. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.